All right, everybody should be able to hear me. As we know now, Roblox has just folded on us this morning. Utterly disappointing after they actually had a good report um, for the most part, but they did have a couple revenue misses. So I got two stocks that absolutely have gotten obliterated within the past 24 hours. So you have Roblox, which reported their quarterly earnings today. Roblox had a miss of about 37 cents on the earnings. So the stock is down about 10%, well, 8%, $11 here in the pre-market. So the stock shot all the way up here to 152 in the pre-market and then ended up drawing down, just got below 130. Hold on 1 second. We'll kind of evaluate at open to see where it's at. So can't really make any major decision until we see where it's at here at the opening bell. So yeah. Next stock though, we're gonna keep Roblox up here just so we can see. Next support is not until 120. So we'll see what that does. Now I want to speak about Meta platforms. Actually, I'm gonna switch sides real quick. Put Roblox on the right side. I'm gonna switch this. Let's see. RBLX. Cool. Put that right here. On the right side, so Roblox, we got there right there, 122. So I'll put that there for now. Now I want to cover Meta because where Meta's sitting at is right here at 680, right? So we're right there sitting at 680 on Meta platforms. I want to see, do I get a breakdown to, because now the NASDAQ, the QQQ is down about $1.05. So I want to see, do we get the NASDAQ to draw down maybe a little bit more and come down to about 674. So when you look here in the pre-market, kind of this side, right? When you look here on the pre-market side on Meta, yesterday we broke below 691. That was the first time we got below that 691 in a minute. I do think that we probably do draw down to about 674. So I want you to watch it right there at 674 on Meta. We can anticipate that the contracts are going to be definitely significantly down at open. Uh, uh, so if you can definitely get a move here to the downside, uh, you can actually take a look here on Meta. I want to see, can we get that drop down to 674, right? So 674, take a look at that level on Meta. Yeah, right there. Take a look at that level on Meta. So 674. That's where I'm looking to see if we can get a reversal, particularly out of that area on Meta. So 674 contracts will be down at open, probably anywhere in between, probably just depending on what specific option you're looking at. But contracts definitely be down at open. So you got ticker RBLX, RBLX. Yep. Yep. So RBLX is down here to 124. So we'll take a look at it at open to decide what we'll do with it. Next level is not until really 120.58. So below that is they're dropping to about 117. Original entry was around one, depending on where you got in, was in between 131 to 134, just depending upon where you got in. So it's down about $7 from that point, taking into fact. If you are out till January, you shouldn't get crushed as much by the IV crush. So that's my thoughts on that. But Meta today, post earnings, we do have a couple of stocks coming up after hours today. Meta, I'm gonna look out. Want everyone to go to their options chain here on January. Uh, yeah. So these contracts, okay, yeah, these contracts for Meta were about 6, 7 grand, just depending, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand almost, where the stock is at now. Like the 680 call yesterday was $9,700 on Meta for January 16th. So I can imagine, and I'm putting that in the chat now. I can imagine that contract, I can anticipate that contract will probably at least be down 50% at open, maybe more. but at least 50% at open, you'll see Meta come down. That Meta, that 680 call, if not more. Let me look at the December 19th contracts real quick, see what they're at. Roughly around the same price. So if we can see, yeah, I would probably say these contracts, they'll be down at least 50%. I think this is a good entry. So I'll draw the play up here for Meta as far as getting in. Let me see, 1 second. All right, so cool. We're right here at 129 on Roblox. So we'll, like I said, I can't really decide until we get closer to market open. What I'm thinking now though with RBLX, I'm realistically, because I have a couple Januaries and a couple Marches, I have 4 contracts in total. I'm thinking that I'm probably just going to stick with the Januaries and probably buy 2 more contracts for March. So that's what I think right now. My original entry is around 131 and 132. So uh, obviously, it's a lot of volatility back and forth right now. So it's tough to really say where we're going to open up. We could open up at 120 or we could open up back at 130, so it's tough to see right now. We'll see is 818. You got another hour and change until that happens. So Meta, the perfect entry. Let me just draw this up now for everybody. The perfect entry is going to be right there at about 674. All right. Let's see. Oops. Wrong side. We go solo screen real quick. Come back to Roblox. Just want to be able to show my whole screen. So 674 was where I want to have this level. All right. So 674. Meta right now. Let's go to the hourly real quick. Yeah, so we made a lower high. Okay, at 4 a.m. But then we sold back off. I know the NASDAQ sold off. So 674. Okay. Try this up. So we'll say anywhere at least in between 50 to 60% at open is where we anticipate Meta contracts to be down. So if you want to look at December 19th or January 2026, this is going to be more of a short-term reversal trade. I mean, you just got to consider this, right? Let me actually pull this up real quick. Where we at 128. I'll come right back to Roblox, but I want to pull this up real quick. So METU, so the 2x levered ETF of Meta dropped about $10 overnight, almost, right? So on METU, we are where we're at $36. Yeah, correct. So realistically, best entry is going to be, we'll say, in between 665 to 674. That may happen today, especially if the NASDAQ pulls back a little bit more. We got to watch that QQQ close. That might not happen at all. So that's going to be your best entry. Your ideal entry, right, should be right here at 680, right? And so I want you to look at anywhere in between a 660 to 680 strike at those expiration dates. And then your two targets are going to be 691 and then as well 696 as well. And then we'll put one for 707 to 710. That'll be your last one. Right. So it's not very often that, Meta, when it does drop, that it stays down for long. These we're talking about the best of the best companies. I know that it was some guidance and it was a one-time tax charge that kind of led to this sell-off that happened here. So I look at this as more a temporary drop, more so than anything structurally wrong with the company. So if you think about it, I do believe that post earnings, Meta has the chance to run back upwards, right? So there's a strong chance that we could see a move back up here on Meta. Not to say that it goes back to 740 or anything like that, But for those that watch these earnings reversal days, we actually did a similar trade on this on not Meta, on Tesla last week. If you guys remember, Tesla was down. I think it was about like 414, 417. And remember, the market opened up and Tesla just immediately started going back upwards. It recovered. I think it actually even turned positive. So I'm not saying that Meta turns positive, but I think we'd be foolish to not consider that Meta can turn back to the upside. So yep, that's my thoughts on it. Questions on a meta play. Questions on a meta play. Questions on a meta play. Questions. Does everybody understand the ideology, the entries, and all of that? Is everybody good with that? Question on the meta play. I wouldn't really touch METU unless it got below $20 on the leverage side. So the leverage ETF of Meta, I wouldn't touch it unless it got below $20. Yeah. Javon's got a question. Let's hear from my good brother. Go ahead, bro. Oops. I don't know. Maybe it was an accident. Questions. 674. Yep. All right, cool. So unless METU is below $20, I would not touch it. Yep. So the information will drop today. Information to drop today. So, yep. Information to drop today. Yep. All right, guys. So I'll get Google in a second, but there's a couple more tickers that I want to go over. So we had that there. Let's get a Roblox update real quick. Where's Roblox at? Oh, Javon does have a question. Go ahead, bro.
All right, so for the meta play, we're just looking for a short-term reversal, pop back up, like what, like January contracts we should look at, or
Yeah, so I got
like
you.
January or
Perfect.
February?
Yeah, December or January be fine because this is going to be
December.
really, really short term. We should not be in this play really too long. We're looking for these targets to get hit real quick and move out the way.
Perfect.
The last target I think is a stretch. I'll be honest with you, but I still put it on there just in case someone may hold past 696. Just so they have a area where they should be looking to take profit at. I don't anticipate that it's going to turn back positive or nothing like that. I don't see that happening. But with such a great company like this dropping as fast as it did, to me, it definitely looks like we could see maybe a reversal today, in the intraday session, and then maybe even tomorrow into next week. So, maybe we get back to $700 a share is pretty much what I'm projecting. So,
Okay, perfect.
yeah, yeah, good question. Yeah. So we got you, we got you, we got you. No problem here. No problem. Good questions. All right. So let's get a Roblox update real quick. Put up RBLX over here. We're done with METU. So Roblox, let's see where it's at. Okay, we're back at 130. So let's see. I mean, let's see where it's at open. Um, if it's back even, uh, still the contracts will probably depending on how far out you are, they'll definitely still be down because of the whiplash, because the stock popped and then dropped. But I think this should still be a good spot to hold Roblox and maybe buy a contract or two to average down a little bit. So that's my thoughts on Roblox there. Couple tickers we got to run through. Next ticker I was trying to get to is JPM. Mm-mm. Go to daily time frame. Perfect. So if you look on the daily time frame, right now on JPM, we are within a falling wedge pattern. So stock currently in the pre-market is at about 304. The level that you should really put down for yourself is right there at about 308. The question is really just a matter of when, not if JPM breaks out. But I think as long as you have time, January, you got some time on this JPM, you could really allow it to cook. JPM over 308 back to 311, and then likely to probably make a new all-time high. So when it moves again is when it starts to break out of this falling wedge. So tried to yesterday. Fed didn't help with that. Not like we got a massive sell-off from that, but That's what we have here for the Fed day. That's where we're at. Mm-mm-mm. So JPM. Oops, did I take something? Oops. There we go. You want to pull up Taiwan Semiconductor ETF, not ETF, stock ADR. So TSM 307 still remains the level we went there yesterday. Of course, the futures are down a little bit right now. So we do have a SPY with a pullback, and then SPY is down $2. And then as well, the QQQ is down $2. So the NASDAQ is pulled back a little bit. NVIDIA is down. So a little bit of selling here this morning. Nothing, nothing crazy. No crazy sell-off so far. Just $2 move here. The VIX is sitting at 16. So that's my thoughts on Taiwan Semiconductor ETF. I keep saying ETF, ADR. Let me do Oracle real quick. So I spoke on this the other day. I actually got an alert on Oracle yesterday. So I want you guys to watch Oracle today. We're finally back down here at 271. So hold on 1 second. We got an hourly bear flag on Oracle, right? So before I would even look, if you're looking here on Oracle, this breakdown below 269 could be very pivotal for the stock to sell off another $9. So Oracle to the downside, stock dropped yesterday, sold off a little bit more. We're waiting on Oracle to see what can materialize here. But I like Oracle to drop $11 from here. A stock is down about $4 in the pre-market. Every time we've came down here, though, I do want to make this point. Every time that we have came down here, we have came down here and bounced. So unless we're clearly and cleanly closing below 269 today on one of these 15-minute or 30-minute time frames, I do think it is likely. Hold on, let me go to the 15-minute. There we go. You'll see it here. We bounced here on the 22nd. So that was last Wednesday. So a little about 8 days ago now. But if you notice, we're breaking down outside of this bear flag here on Oracle. So all of this happened this morning. Stock yesterday was down $5 and then continued to push downward today. So Oracle, that's where we're at. Roblox update is back to 127. So that's my thoughts on Oracle. If you're looking at a smaller day trade, etc., that's where you have it there. You have Netflix. Let's see. Netflix I had still here at $1,100 a share, hanging out here. You got 1082. I want you to watch this 1082 on Netflix. Below that, there's a level all the way at about just so I'll fit this to screen. There we go. 1063 and then 1045. So that's what you have on ticker Netflix. All right. Those are your two levels there. So you got Netflix and Oracle potentially coming downward. Once again, Oracle below 269. You look for a target. Let me actually just post this up right now, just so everybody can see these notes. Oracle setup. You have a bear flag breakdown. 269 close on the 15 or 30-minute would be your best entry. Ideally, this could be something that you enter early on in the session. And then you could see a drop below 270. I would say with Oracle, same practice. Look at Oracle move down. So with a target of 260. Yeah, target of 260. As far as Roblox, once again, I said the same thing. We'll see at open where Roblox is in. I plan to average down on Roblox. So that's what I plan to do right now, based upon where the stock price is at. If this thing is going below 120, I'm just going to exit the position. But as of right now, I'm going to stay in the position and I'm going to average down. That is the game plan for RBLX. So if you're not hearing me, I'm going to say it again. RBLX, I don't plan to close at open. I plan to go to that options chain and grab two more contracts for March. And I'm going to hold on to the two contracts that I have for January. And we'll see what it does. But I don't plan to sell right now. Finish writing this play out 1 second. So that move down to 260 will be target one. Yep. So pull up Oracle. I need this chart real quick. I knew it was 252, but it was really, yeah. So target one is 260.87. And then target two will be 251.74 or 252, whichever one you want to do. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. But only with Oracle, this has to really get below 269. If it doesn't, then we're not going to see this move play out. So contracts wise, what I would suggest, January 2026, grab you a 280 put for January of 2026. If you want to put more time out, there's nothing wrong with that. But I would say at minimum, just go ahead and get you a January contract and let this thing play out. So I just dropped in the chat the position. So you had that. So I just wrote up the game plan for you guys on Oracle. So everybody should be good in that regard. Roblox earnings call just started now. So we'll see if them talking helps them or it hurts them. So that just started there now. To give an update, the NASDAQ, the QQQ is down $2.48. The SPY is down $2.12. All right. So $2.12. Next stock to cover, I want to cover ticker BA. I want you to look at Boeing right now, ticker BA. Watch this stock at 209, kind of similar to the Oracle play we were just speaking about. If you notice, one or two things is going to happen. Either Boeing's going to break below 209 and finally come down to 205. This is more for my day traders and my scalpers, people that's looking for maybe an intraday trade. But below 209, you're looking at a pullback down to about 205, right? So we're coming back down to that zone again in that area. Let's see what happens there at this on this specific stock. So those are the numbers today. Today's 10:30. Micron Technologies. Nope, they're done. TTD, yeah, gotta cover TTD and MBOX. So as far as MBOX, guys, I'm getting a lot of messages about MBOX. So I just want to make a couple things clear. TTD, before I do that, TTD right now is still at about $50. So you got a double bottom here on the weekly. So once again, June 18th of 2026 is the contract that you should be in. So just allow that thing to cook and do what it needs to do. Now, it's a lot of time left, so I wouldn't be really focused on it quite yet. That's what we bought the time for. And the targets remain the targets of 65.71 and 76.20. Now, let me come to NVOX. As everybody should know, it's right now it's at what, $2.83. So with NVOX, it's getting right here within that loading zone here in that $2 range. So I think we already spoke about, best price scenarios. So we do have, ultimately here, at this point in time, Um, I do think that when we do look at MBOX, this is a good loading zone. Just continue to pick up shares. I think when it was at $3 and change, and right here at the cusp of $4, we were talking about it pulling back down to these levels. So we already talked about buying shares on this name. So now it's getting to the levels that we really already discussed. So that's really what I would say. Nothing is changing about our thoughts on the position. Time. You know, we just need time, and I think we've been very clear that we don't expect MBO to turn around tomorrow or next week or really next month. So that's the thoughts on it, and that remains the thoughts on it. So when it does turn around, and it turn around, until then, it'll hang out in the goulash here. So that's my thoughts on MVOX. Next ticker, couple other names that we need to go over. Well, shout out to ABGO. They made a new all-time high yesterday. Not going to pull them up today. We did hear from Eli Lilly and Company. They reported their quarterly earnings. So ticker ELO is up about $1 and change. Eli Lilly went up a little bit here post-market. So they did their thing. We have ticker Tesla. Tesla. So right now, Tesla is, I want to show everybody this so they understand what's happening. The reason why Tesla hasn't broken yet is the same pattern that Palantir is in. It's in a weekly bull flag. So these consolidation flags, uh, ultimately they can stay trading sideways for a couple weeks to, a couple months, just depending on what time frame that you're in. So we're waiting at, we're actually taking a look here at Tesla, and we still need this break over 470. So we got to see this break over $470 a share on TSLA. So for a break over $470 a share will send us up higher. Shout out to Palantir since I made mention. But you got these levels at 480. When it breaks, it's really no telling right now. But would it be good for it to get above 470? It tried to do that in September, wasn't able to do so. It tried to do it again this week. We've gotten as high as 466, and when we sold off. So that's our thoughts with Tesla. I think as long as you have time on the position, Tesla's going to work itself out. Tesla's one of those names that just sometimes the market could be red and Tesla be up 20, $30. Or, it could go up $20, $30 out of nowhere, some sort of news. So it's hard to really gauge in time, okay, exactly when it's going to happen. But we do have a nice setup here on it. And so when it breaks out, it'll break out. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Over JPM. So everybody's good with JPM. You should have an alert for JPM at 308. So do set that alert at 308 for ticker JPM. Let me go back to Meta real quick. I see we pull back down. Clean this up real quick. All right, so perfect. So I want you guys to look at Meta right there at about that 674. So watch that at open, because Meta will probably shoot down a little bit at open. We do have on this the hourly time frame. So clean this up. There we go. So we do have a falling wedge pattern that is taking place here on the hourly and the 30-minute time frame. So that's why I said that 674 would be very pivotal. I think that's really a great entry. Maybe it drops a little bit lower. So it's just kind of really my thoughts. That was that 665 that I had. Let's see. I think I had that from a low from a previous time though. Yeah, it's right there. Oh, that'd be my thoughts on META. Yeah, so we had that right here. I'm gonna just stretch this trend line out. All right, so 665. Yeah, so I put that. I had that from June 3rd. Meta's erasing all those gains. Yikes! 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 So there we go. You have a falling wedge pattern right now. So that falling wedge pattern in between 665, 674 is a really good place for an entry. Really good place for an entry. To cover Tesla, we got Nat QQQ is down here. Let me pull up the NASDAQ real quick. QQQ is down here to 632. Oops. Apologies. So where was that low today? LOD from yesterday is at 630 and change. So like I was saying before, if Meta, I would wait on Meta, right? So I would definitely not, no one should be getting Meta at open anyways. But I would definitely wait on Meta to pull back. At least I think Meta, you can get another 10, maybe $15 more on the pullback side. If you want a short-term scalp that you can, I'm not going to recommend a short Meta when it's already down $80. That's just me. Right. So if you're looking here, this is the LOD from yesterday that I just marked off at 1400 hours right there at 2 p.m. So 630 will be the floor today. If you do get below 630, I'm thinking you want to watch this pre-market low from Tuesday at 624.92. So on Meta, assuming on not well, on Meta, you definitely can watch the stock as it draws down. But here for QQQ, if you break below 630, Oracle and Meta will probably both do what we just drew their charts up to do. And of course, certain other stocks will come down as well too. So within the NASDAQ, NVIDIA just made a new high at 210. NVIDIA is now back here at 203. So look at this as more as profit take. Funny enough, Apple's still up. They broke out of that bull flag pattern. They report after hours today. So with the names that do come after hours, on today's side, you do have Apple, Amazon, Coinbase, Strategy, Reddit, RDDT, Coin, COIN. So you hear from the crypto space today. You got Roku, right? So a ton of those companies are going to be reporting after the bell. Coinbase and MicroStrategy, both are crypto space leaders. Both of those stocks will be reporting here. So we'll get an opportunity to hear from them. So yeah, this is as far as the QQQ. Best case scenario, set this all the way. I didn't even realize we were that high at that point. Hold on, check that. About right there at open. So yeah, we had a double top at 636. That's what drew us down. So we had a DT here in the pre-market right there at about 8 o'clock. We drew back up. We made a DT. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. So you do, like I said, I did mark this off. So I marked that right there at 630. All right. So right there at 630. That's your level so you can set an alert for the Qs today. You can imagine if we do break below that 630, you're going to see Oracle come down. Oracle's right now at $270.69. It's already down 1%, 1.5% here in the pre-market. You also had that set up on Meta. Meta coming down here. It's at 675 already. So as we're talking about it, it's coming down. So perfect is getting down here to these levels. So it's about to get down there. So it's getting down there into that drop zone, that loading zone. So right there, I say this: if Meta can give you 665, just buy that call, put some time on it. These options are going to be significantly down at open. Meta be down basically almost $100 a share. If it can almost about $85 a share if it gets down to 665. So that's a good spot to really buy a call, put some time on it a couple months out, and allow it to reverse back upwards. So I think this is more really of a profit take, especially with, I mean, you look across the board, it's going to be hard for you to see, um, you know, the market move upward, especially if Nvidia is down $4 as well too. So take that into consideration. So look at it as merely a profit take, uh, more so than anything. So profit taking right now. The VIX, like I said, is at 16. So we are in the no fear zone essentially. So with the VIX right there at 16, you have basically every single you had literally every single semiconductor company making a new high for like the past 5 sessions. So a good sell day right now so far. Little profit take on that side. We had a couple other companies. You do have SoFi Technologies, which is they're going to go ahead and they actually had their report. Anytime a stock is getting to all-time highs, it always becomes, more and more difficult to continue to shoot past. The bar is high. There's not as many clear-cut, clean levels. Um, Speaking of bar set high, I'm going to give you guys another one. I actually was just looking at this on a watch list before we came on while I was listening to Meta's earnings. Before I forget, let me tell you about it now. Ticker Kava. Kava. So we're here at $56. We actually in the pre-market got below $58.39. So I want to give you guys my thoughts on Kava. Once I've kind of told you guys over and over again that at some point Kava would get down here to probably about $40. Kava has earnings 5 days from now. I think that we see Kava right now. It's a $7 billion company. So if you were interested in the name, I think $3 to $4 billion is the perfect price for you. So that calls for is Kava to erase all of these gains next. So, the initial IPO in 2023, we drew down for a couple months, but then really shot all the way back up. What's the path? So anywhere in between 40 to $35 to me is going to be the best price to get Kava. Now, here in the short term, looking at a break below 53.99, it'll take you down to 48.15. So I know with Kava, we've been sitting here trading sideways pretty much since all of September, finally with a little bit of downside momentum as of today. So I would watch Kava. This is a macro level breakout to the downside here on ticker CAVA. So you got Kava that's been bear flagging to the downside, finally breaks. So those are your next levels for my people that are looking to maybe own that name long term. Like I said, $35 to $40 would be perfect for you. $35 to $40 would be perfect for you to be able to kind of pick that name up and grab it at a really good price. So what is this? Cover. Got a couple more tickers to go through. Shopify's earnings is 5 days, so I got time before I need to cover them. Two stocks, one which reported yesterday. So Microsoft did everything we needed to do before earnings. So that was a good thing. It drew down to about 515. It didn't stay down so far like Meta did. Of course, their earnings weren't maybe as bad per se, right? So you do have this level at 532. So I do want you guys to look at that 532 level here on MSFT. As you can tell, the contracts, the IV crush on these contracts, implied volatility will be soaked out of these things. Here at the bell, contracts will be down as well, even though it didn't maybe drop as much, only $12, but the IV probably, especially on the shorter terms, they'll probably be all the way cooked. So with MSFT watching either 532 break or that 525 break underneath. So that's my thoughts on MSFT. Give some updates on a couple tickers that we discussed. Roblox is at, I think, about 126. Hold on. Yeah, it's at right there at about 126. It's down about five. Well, excuse me, it's down about $7 from our initial 5 to 7, just depending on where you got in 131 or 133 from our initial entry. Once again, we plan to hold Roblox, buy a couple more contracts for March expiration date. That's the plan. I'm gonna hold the January's. So that's the game plan pretty much there. Um, Oracle. So just to reiterate, so everybody understands, Oracle, uh, we're looking for a move down to. Uh, I would say if someone said I would get in Oracle first before jumping in Meta, because let Meta fall first, right? I want to make that clear. No one should get in Meta at open. Let it fall first. It's at 672. So I'm actually gonna adjust some things, and I'm glad that it's doing this pre-market. That's fine. Get it out the way. I'm about to adjust some things here on Meta. I'm gonna change a couple of the targets just because the first target now will be 680. Second target would be 691. And the second target would be 703. I mean, third target would be 703. So I just adjusted the targets, strike range. I'm gonna adjust those as well too. Keep it funky. 650 to 660. There we go. So I adjusted that for everyone. The targets, contracts, like I said, we're looking at a stock that's going to be down so much at open. I would focus on Meta last. Let's cook Oracle real quick. Let's cook Oracle up real quick, and let's see what we can get out of them. They're down $5. And like I said, 665. I want you to watch that. I think Meta could very easily hit that and drop and rally and recover quickly. As far as Oracle, we got to really watch here at 269. Below that 269, there is a $10 move to the downside. Yeah, a $10 move. Yep, $10 move. Roblox is dropping. Roblox is dropping. Yep. So they actually beat the consensus. They still lost money. Roblox is a loss-making business. So guidance is always key with those things. Right now it's down about $8.55. Here from yesterday's close at 133.74. Majority of people got in anywhere in between 131 to 133. Stock popped to about 147, 148 as early as this morning, pulled back down. Earnings call is active right now. So by the time the next 35 minutes, the earnings call should be probably wrapping up. So that's my thoughts on that. You do have the Qs, which is down $4 as well as Nvidia. So Nvidia, some profit taking. AMD is down. All of the semiconductor stocks are down. Apple's measly up about $1. Netflix is down $10. UNH is down $4 and change. METU, which is the 2X lever, is down $9. I told people underneath $20 would be the only place I would probably really be interested in METU. So that's not happening right now. So I'm not interested in picking up the 2X levered ETF. So yeah, JPM 44 down 44 cents. So yeah, I would focus on that. Pull up Meta again. There we go. So yeah, 675. So it's a sweet spot for Meta. So let's just see where it's at. But I would focus, like I said, if you could just grab a contract on Meta, perfect. I am going to double down on Roblox. So just to say that again, so people know, I am going to double down at Roblox. Is currently sitting right here at support. So I'm going to pick up a contract on Roblox. It's definitely an unfortunate situation, but this is the risk that you take with earnings. That's why I always say earnings are a high risk, high reward type move. Paying that with Caterpillar. Some people made 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 10,000. On some people made 10,000. With Roblox, we'll see what happens here post earnings. But this is the risk that we take. That's why I say it's a high risk, but a high reward. If it pays off, perfect. If it misses, it could draw down. But this is why we buy time in the first place, right? So even in the event that something happens in the short term, yes, we could be down on these contracts, but you bought the time to allow this thing to actually work, and we'll see what Roblox does. So that's kind of my thoughts. No disappointment for me. We can't be cheerleading Caterpillar, but when Roblox miss, we can't be crying. So that's kind of my mentality on it. You take the risk when you trade these earnings. So that's really my thoughts. Uh, Too many times, I think some of the common mistakes is you can't let one day or one session change your principles, right? So, like a lot of people asking me about MVOX, I can tell that they weren't listening when I told them about MVOX in the beginning, right? Because if you're asking me, are we still buying MVOX right now? I just know you couldn't have been listening. We specifically spoke on MVOX coming to these levels, and we said we would get greedy here. I see we got a hand up, so I'm gonna let Miss Hernandez get her question in. But we specifically spoke on getting this ETF, 2x lever ETF at these levels. So, yep, we specifically spoke about getting that. So, yep, Miss Claudia, go ahead, Queen. I did ask you to unmute, so please take the time to get your question in here for us this morning. Yep. Uh, all right, just no question there. So where we have it, SPY's down $3.50. Qs are down $4.40. We do have ticker Apple reporting after the bell. So Apple, Amazon, Coin, another busy day. Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Roku, tons of stocks coming after the bell. Still here left. The aftermath of the Federal Reserve interest rate decision. The VIX is up a actually, no, the VIX is here at 1650. So knocking on the door at 1650. Watch, like I said, for the QQQ, watch that 630. Wow. Watch that 630. So watch that 630. So that's pretty much it, guys. So I'm gonna wrap this Zoom up, and I'll be in the chat. So I appreciate you guys for your time. Thank you. Peace.